It's a new month, a new Monday, and a new set. I'm Man of Interest, and it's time for This Week in Keyboards. But first, the sponsor of this video, Novelkeys. Over at Novelkeys, you can check out the Kailh China-style box switches, which are available in flavors such as Chinese Red, Noble Yellow, Glazed Green, and Ancient Gray. Check out these switches over at Novelkeys. And when you check it out, consider using my promo code SWITCHES to get 5% off anything on the store. Link down below. Starting off in the news this week is an Intercheck from Wilba. It's not one of his amazing PCBs, although it'll feature one. It's the Wilba.tech Thermal, a keyboard inspired by brutalist architecture, vintage computers, and big black heatsinks. It is a pretty nice Intercheck with the facts that we need. 8-degree typing angle, top case options for blockers or no blockers, offered in black, red, silver, and gray. A mainly fixed layout plate with a Zeal 60 PCB underneath. Produced by Zeal. I love the heatsink look, and I'm in it to win it with the HHKB layout. Xamelon did an amazing job with these renders as well. The USB-C daughter board to center the USB port is great, and I'm really looking forward to this, and hopefully we can see some prototype pictures soon. I think one of the most interesting things is the leaf spring mount. I'm super curious to see what that entails. So curious, in fact, I actually asked Wilba, and he told me, quote, "It's completely experimental. It might fail in prototyping, and if so, we shall never speak of it again." So I'm gonna keep my eyes out on the prototype, see what happens. Up next, we have Exclusive's 65% board. After the success of the E6 and E7, he's hitting us with that E6.5. And I gotta say, my man Exclusive has done it again. This is an absolutely beautiful board that is available in polycarbonate, aluminum, and PVD brass cases with a 5-degree typing angle, a QMK USB-C PCB, and some classic RGB underglow. At 100 orders, the price of both the aluminum and polycarbonate kits will be a chill $330, which is solid. If you're a baller without a budget, you can go for the full brass version for $688. Colors for the aluminum version are E-white, E-black, dark red, dark gray, and some sort of color called Wafat and Mao, which is basically a light gray. The group buy will be running until the 9th with payment deadline on the 15th. The estimated ship date will be early June 2019. Both Exclusive's E6 and E7 buys went really well, and looks like the E6.5 is on the same track. I'm someone who has both the Founders Edition for the E6 and E7. Will I be getting the Founders Edition 6.5? Unfortunately not, because all the slots filled out before I could even fill mine out. Maybe next time. But now we have another 65% entering the Intercheck phase. The Think 6.5 Degree by Old Cat in collaboration with Air Potter of Gray Studio. Inspired by a plethora of 65% boards, Old Cat and Company have brainstormed this Think 6.5 with a lot of influences. This polycarbonate board will feature a 6.5 degree typing angle, a 4.5mm plate, a brass badge and brass weight, as well as a USB-C QMK PCB. So, particular interesting things about this board. The badge basically acts as a switch blocker, and this board is basically all polycarbonate. Like, there's a lot of polycarbonate going on. And you know, it's one of the things. Polycarbonate is one of those 2019 trends that I don't suspect will end anytime soon. The estimated price will be under $300, which sounds pretty amazing for everything here. I'm definitely curious to see how the prototype turns out. And at least based on this Intercheck information, this board has a lot going on and can be pretty promising. I imagine hopefully it will sound amazing and look amazing, depending on what builds go in it. I'm really curious to see how it transitions into the group buy phase, and if Old Cat and Company can keep that expected price point to stay under $300 before shipping. Next up by Jack Static is the Intercheck for the Irma UHMW WKL TKL, aka the Ultra High Molecular Weight Plastic Wind Keyless 10 Keyless Keyboard. That's quite a mouthful. The Wind Keyless TKL here is planned on being made in Northern California, which is holla great. The plastic itself used, UHMW, is something different, and I like this sort of experimentation with different kinds of materials. Hopefully a prototype can be completed sooner than later, because I'm super curious about this plastic. The plate will be either brass or the UHMW, depending on how Jack Static feels about the sound. And you know what? I like the background behind the reasoning for this board. A board that feels like a custom, but one that you aren't terrified about scuffing, dropping, denting, or damaging. Sound and feel are going to be the highest importance to jacks, so I'm really looking forward to how this board goes. I hope it goes well. Next up, we have the Rain M Cubed, posted by Bledden on behalf of Parallelogram, which by the way is a great username. This board, inspired by the 1800 Mini, is an ISO-friendly version of that board with input from users from the MK UK Discord. This limited 25-unit run will feature a full 6061 aluminum construction, 19mm switch spacing, 7-degree typing angle, and an expected unbuilt weight of 1.6 kilograms. Honestly, I think overall this keyboard has a pretty cool look to it. And I think the ultimate worry people have will be the 19mm spacing, especially for keycaps by the edges of the keyboard. It's a bit bummer. I wish they went to the 19.05 spacing, but that's how it is. The keyboard's only limited to 25 units, so not everyone will be in it to win it, and I suspect those people are going to be all of the ISO crowd. Next up from Abstract KB is the Abstract Ellipse, a macro pad with 3 rotary encoders. Rotary encoders have definitely come into style for people who like to tinker and try out new different things with macro pads and small keyboards. This one, 3 rotary encoders, 3 switches, and that's what this macro pad is all about. Whether you want to move the X, Y, and Z axis in your preferred 3D CAD program, or you want to assign them to color correction values when video or photo editing, this macro pad will have you covered, with support for authentic Ellipse rotary encoders and MX switch compatibility. There's also going to be support for in-switch LEDs and underglow if you're all about those R's, G's, and B's. This whole macro pad will be powered by QMK, and the package will be approximately $50 plus shipping. That will include the laser cut acrylic top and bottom, plates, the PCB, and any of the hardware like the standoffs and screws to assemble the whole thing together. So, if you're interested, check out the survey because it's already been prototyped. OP just needs more info from y'all. Now, next up is Overrun Novel Keys. They now have the Kailh China-style box switches. 4 flavors, 2 linears, 2 clickies, and all featuring 3.6mm of travel. These box switches were intended for Chinese audiences, but since Mike has the Kailh hookups, these are now available to us in the West. They're $1 per switch until you get to more than 30 switches, which drops the price down to 60 cents per switch. If I had to be honest, 60 cents per switch still seems a little bit on the steep side in terms of pricing, but the switches themselves are particularly interesting. The Clicky Noble Yellow and Glaze Green both have the same bottom out, but different actuation weights due to the click bar, one being thicker than the other. A great comparison between the two, I think, can be made there. If you're a fan of heavy switches, the Kailh Ancient Grays may be for you, as they have a hefty 95 gram force actuation, but the bottom out is only 5 grams above that, so that's going to be nice and heavy. Don't forget, use my promo code SWITCHES for 5% off your order. Next up is an interest check I missed last week, so here it is this week. DSA Aquanauts by Thom RM. This set is meant to evoke the feeling of diving into some tropical paradise, and I say it's going to be an uphill battle. Radiant sets have always been difficult. It's hard enough for most designers to pick out 2 to 3 colors that will define the set. When you make a gradient set, you're dealing with more than just 2 or 3 colors. Get one of the colors wrong, I think the whole set will fall apart. So far, based off this interest check, Thom RM has a good start with these Pantones, but until we see some more 3-dimensional renders per se, it's hard to really get behind this set. Still, props for trying something very bold. Finally, by literatewaffle is the interest check for the GMK 64, which is a GMK set inspired by keycaps of the Commodore 64. This set will feature the GMK BV Brown and L9 Cream colors. This set is designed with 40% keyboards in mind with the compatibility to scale up to 60% keyboards. So the side print legends will be the main sell on this set. It's interesting to see another 40% marketed set, but the 40% market has definitely been growing in the last couple of years. So this definitely makes sense as a lot more people have been adopting this form factor. It's definitely a very early interest check without better renders than what we have here, but I'd rather see a full set with a separate 40s kit as opposed to what this is now. But for the 40% fans out there, this is a dream. Well, that's it for this week in keyboards. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of my new setup. I know there's some improvements that need to be made. The lights need to be a bit better and tweaked a bit better, I think. I need to get rid of these creases in the backdrop. I need to decorate or use this desk better and some way. We'll figure it out together. We'll figure it out together. Don't forget to check out not only the sponsor for this episode, but my other sponsors, whether it's Z Frontier, Kono, ZealPC, Novel Keys. That'd be awesome. If you like this content and want to see more, please subscribe and like. I'm also streaming on Twitch every Monday and Wednesday evenings. The link to my channel and schedule is down in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next video.